Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist and I own 52 units of real estate. So today I want to talk about shiny object syndrome again, and it struck again for me. So, if you watch my prior videos, I talk about how I had shiny object syndrome. I bought a mobile home park in Selma, Alabama, which I ended up losing money on. I started an Amazon drop shipping store called Lunar Ecom through Ryan Panetta, which ended up losing $30,000. I opened up an independent pharmacy as an angel investor, and I lost $30,000 as well. And the recurring theme here is every time I deviated from what has worked for me and I lost focus and I diluted my focus, I lost money. So when I deviated from single family homes and apartments to a mobile home park in a different state, I lost money. When I tried to get rich quick with Amazon drop shipping stores, I was sold the dream. I was sold the hopium of, easy, quick passive income of, $5,000 to $10,000 per month. And that sounded sexy because that would be enough to replace my W-2 job. And, I kind of bit that dream a little bit, and obviously all I did was passively lose money, and the only person that made money was a person who sold me that dream. And with my independent pharmacy, once again, I thought, well, I'm a pharmacist. Doesn't it make sense to own an independent pharmacy? But I didn't know how the business was. I work in a hospital, and the partners weren't that experienced either. So perfect storm of losing your initial seed money of $30,000. So, had I took that money and bought single family homes, had I took that money and bought apartment complexes, I probably would have not lost as much money. I probably would not have been as stressed, and I probably would not have, basically done more work that I need to do. I talk about it in my video, but I had an opportunity to buy a 50-unit apartment complex in Enid, Oklahoma, where I already owned a 20-unit apartment. It was all Section 8 housing, so it might have been like a projects, quote unquote. And, but I thought I was cool. I thought I was sexy, and I deviated to a mobile home park just to sound cool to say. But I remember owning 90 units of real estate, and it was really stressful, and they weren't a good 90 units of real estate. So now I really try to stay focused and just stay in the lanes that have made me successful. So let me list those out for you. The first lane is single family homes in California. Obviously I've done well house hacking in California, but given that housing prices have gone up, given that interest rates have gone up, it's hard to make house hack numbers work. And if you were to move out the house hack, it wouldn't really cash flow unless you were to do a midterm rental or a short-term rental. And for me, that isn't my domain, that isn't my expertise, and I don't think they're as scalable, to be honest. It might be a limiting belief, but that's just kind of my stance, because I'm more of a long-term rental type of person, because it's tried and true. It's been around forever. And, ultimately, if your midterm rental or short-term rental doesn't work out, it needs to still work out as a long-term rental and at least break out. So, and obviously my other lanes are buying new construction in Huntsville, Alabama. It's buying apartments in Oklahoma, and that's it, right? That's basically all I'm going to do for the rest of my life. It's very passive for me at this point. I have teams in place. I have systems in place. I know what to expect. I know the good, the bad, and I've seen the ugly. So for me, there's going to be not as many surprises. I have boots on the ground. I have teams. I have systems. I know the area, right? Because I've owned in those areas now since 2021. So going on 4 years now. So that's my unfair advantage now, right? I know the rents in Oklahoma. It's about $700, $800. I know how much it's going to cost to renovate a unit. It's going to be maybe $10,000 at most. I know how much insurance is going to cost. I know what repairs come with Class C multifamily real estate. I know my property managers. I know my general contractors. I know how the renovation is going to look. It's just copy and paste, right? Like all my renovations for my apartments in Oklahoma, it's literally copy and paste. same flooring, same paint, same cabinets, same kitchen, same bathroom, same layout, same fixtures. You just buy in bulk. It's easy. So that's when you get to that point, like, why deviate from what already works for you, right? And so my newest shiny object syndrome is short-term rentals, specific Airbnbs, right? Short-term rentals, Airbnbs. And what triggered this shiny object syndrome is that, I'm getting married in March of 2025, end of March of 2025. And once I'm married, we were thinking about how do we qualify as a real estate professional status together. So right now I work full-time as a pharmacist. My future wife works full-time as a pharmacist. So in order to qualify as a real estate professional status, one of us has to be part-time. And right now it makes more sense for my future wife to be part-time because I make more money as a pharmacy manager, and my schedule is Monday through Friday, no weekends, easy for me to request off vacation. So, and I can't be a part-time manager to my knowledge. So, that would make sense. And then she would have to become a realtor and basically be able to document that, well, if she works 20 hours as a pharmacist, she has to document 21 hours as a realtor, which isn't that hard to do, to be honest. But it's just getting the documentation in order. So, if we get the real estate professional status, obviously it can wipe out our W-2 income. So let's just say we take home $300,000 W-2. If we buy $1 million piece of real estate, we qualify as a real estate professional status, and we do a cost segregation study to accelerate the depreciation, we could potentially have $300,000 of depreciation that can wipe out our $300,000 of income and pay zero income tax for that year. That's how people pay zero income tax. It's because they're real estate professional status and they're utilizing accelerated depreciation, cost segregation, bonus depreciation, some sort of that. So if you do the math, we make $300K. Let's say our tax bracket is 50% here in California. That's $150,000 that we get back in our pocket, which is about $12,000 a month in income that we would receive back, which is way more than we would make if we both work full time in terms of take home pay. So I thought that would make sense. But then I learned with Airbnbs or short-term rentals, you could do something called material participation. So I think if you can document, I'm blanking out on the numbers, but you have to document, I think it's 150 hours or something like that. You have to document, I think it ended up being maybe a week and a half of work, maybe 100 hours or 150 hours. I forgot. You can Google it. But anyways, when you buy an Airbnb or a short-term rental, you're going to have to basically drive to that short-term rental and then basically set it up, right? So you're going to buy furniture. You're going to buy decorations. You're going to set up the furniture. You're going to set up the decorations. You're going to talk to contractors for renovations to add amenities like, a pickleball court or a pool or a hot tub or themed rooms. You have to paint the rooms. Short-term rentals is an experience, right? You have to create an experience for people. So I was brainstorming, maybe I'll do Pokemon themed room where I have 1 or 2 rooms where they're Pokemon themed. I'd get a muralist to come out and they would paint something Pokemon themed, have Pokemon stuffed animals, just Pokemon everything. And that's more for the kids. And then for the adults, I want something more romantic, right? Think about wine night or nice view and nice wine, something more romantic for the parents, and then something fun and gimmicky for the kids, which is like Pokemon. So, coordinating all that, it's going to take a lot of time, and both of our hours count. So let's say we need 100 hours. I put in 50. My future wife puts in 50. And then we have 100 hours. We document it. Boom. We qualify as material participation in this property for the first year. And then at that point, we would do a cost segregation study on the property and then use that to basically wipe out our W-2 income. But what's beautiful about material participation is that we both could have a full-time W-2 income. I can be a full-time pharmacist. My future wife could be a full-time pharmacist. As long as we document 100 hours of material participation, that real estate losses is now considered active. So if I do a cost seg, I do bonus depreciation, it'll wipe out my active income. It won't touch my passive income. It'll wipe out my active income. So I just thought, wow, this is an amazing idea. Like, I could buy the short-term rental in Sedona. So I had a friend of mine who was nice enough to share me his experience owning 5 short-term rentals in Sedona. He gave me his realtor. He has contractors. He has cleaners. He has systems there already. So I was trying to leverage his systems to, expedite my journey. So, I talked to the realtor, got presented a deal, and, I looked at the numbers, and I just like, okay, so I would get something for about $800,000, and, in Sedona, I would probably negotiate to give me all the furniture, so I don't have to spend, what is that, $20,000, $30,000 furnishing the house. All these little things add up. But the property was an existing, I think, short-term rental. And basically from there, I just want kind of turnkey. So, or if I buy it, I can just coordinate the furniture. You can buy a lot of furniture on Temu now. Like the table I'm sitting at, I bought from Temu, significantly cheaper. So, you can ship a bunch of stuff to the property. You can buy a lot of nice things on Temu, or go to Ross, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Ross, Facebook Marketplace, buy things at a discount, and then basically use that to furnish the house and set up the furniture and set up the decoration. So you have to spend probably a week and a half there to get your 100 hours. And then we'd use that to wipe out our W-2 income. And then, if we don't want to do short-term rentals anymore, then we would essentially use it as a long-term rental. So I was looking at the numbers, and basically a purchase price $800K. I'd have to put 25% down, which is, what is that, $200K. And the kind of gross income that the realtor quoted me for the short-term rental, and he has experience with short-term rentals himself, is about, I think, $100,000 gross on the top line. So if you were to assume, let's say 40% for your expense, and this is self-management, right? This isn't a third-party short-term rental property manager, because they take 25% cut, and it would not be profitable at all. But I assumed 40% is my expense doing it myself. And so I had $60,000 in NOI before your debt service. So that's about $5,000 a month. But on a $600,000 loan at 8% or 7.5%, 8% interest, I think the loan was like $4,600, something like that. And I was just like, okay, I'm not even gonna cash flow. So to me, it was just kind of like, I don't want to go through all this work to not cash flow, right? Yes, I could wipe out my W-2 income, but this isn't scalable to me. So I didn't think short-term rentals was scalable, which is now validating why I will continue to do short-term rentals. Like, for me, it seems like too much work. Like, I don't know of any short-term rental operators that own 80 Airbnbs. The only people that I know that are successful Airbnbs are the property management companies. Like, I heard that they make more money than the actual short-term rental operators. So you're almost better off becoming a short-term rental property manager, and you make more money that way versus actually owning the short-term rental. So once I kind of realized that, I was just like, wow, this is totally not worth it. Right? Like, why should I do this? And don't get me wrong, short-term rentals is a great way to replace your W-2 income faster, but there's a lot of seasonality, right? You have hot months, you have slow months, you have major repairs, you have no repairs. So for me, short-term rentals could boost up your cash flow, but it requires more work. So for me, I was like, that's not really my lifestyle, and didn't really seem, worth it for me. So, I staved off the shiny object syndrome. I'm glad I spent, a weekend researching it, but didn't want to I learned from someone's experience. I learned from more experienced operators. And like I said, I don't see anybody that owns 52 short-term rentals. Like, I own 52 units, and I don't spend any time at all, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours a month managing my portfolio. And that's the lifestyle that I want. So once again, it's validating to just stay the course, do what's been successful for me, do what works, and continue doing that. So, once again, I'm not going to buy a short-term rental. I actually tried Airbnb out one of my rooms in my current house just to see what it's like. And yeah, I don't think it's for me, right? I don't think it's for me. So I'll just continue staying focused on what has worked for me. So I want to share this because I struggle with shiny object syndrome, and I want you to learn from my mistakes. Anyways, if you want to learn how to buy multifamily real estate with some guidance, some mentorship, check out the link down below. Otherwise, let me know what questions you have. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much.